What's the best video editing software for Mac right now in 2021? Well, here's our roundup of the latest options with our picks for the best video editors in every category, from best free software to paid and professional options, with everything you need to know to decide which one is the best one for you. Hey, it's Justin Brown here from Primal Video, where we help you grow an audience and scale your revenue with online video. If you're seeing value in this video, make sure you're giving it a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference. And all the links to everything I cover in this video, you can find linked in the description box below. Let's jump into it. Video editing software is something that updates and changes so fast, so much so that we create a video like this every 6 to 12 months. Each time we spend a ton of time going back to the drawing board and trying and testing a ton of the options out there. And eventually we narrow that list down to our top recommendations for video editing software across every budget. Now, since our last video, there's actually been some pretty big changes when it comes to editing software on Mac. Some of our previous recommendations have fallen behind, and there have been some new ones that have entered the space that are now some of our top recommendations for you. And just like last time, I'm gonna break this overview down into multiple pricing categories, including free, paid, and more professional software, so that you can see what's available at each level. You can hear our recommendations, and if you're starting out in one of the lower brackets, then you'll know exactly what you'll be unlocking if you jump into a higher bracket. And while you're watching, make sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what video editing software you're using right now, and also what your #1 pick is for best video editing software on Mac in 2021. And once we're done with my recommendations for every pricing bracket, I'm gonna share with you 3 video editing tips that will help you level up and edit faster in any video editing software. All right, so these are the pricing categories we're gonna break this down into. We're gonna start off first with free software. That one's pretty self-explanatory. That's all the free stuff. From there, we're gonna move into the sub $200 category. So that is every piece of video editing software under that $200 price point. And inside of this, we're also going to include free software as well. So you can see if you were prepared to spend up to $200, what your options are, including free, and how they stack up. And the third category is where we bring in the $200 plus video editing software. So all video editing software that is going to be available above $200, but we're also going to include in this category everything beneath that as well. So that you know, again, if you're prepared to spend $200 plus on your video editing software, what your options are and which the best ones will be for you at any pricing category. Now, one really important thing I want to mention is that my approach to video editing software is that there is no perfect solution out there. Each video editing app or program is literally just a tool to get the job done, a tool to edit video down. So your goal when you're going through this, and my goal to help you, is to work out which one is going to be the best fit for you. So don't just jump out and use the one that you see someone else using. Which one is going to suit you best based on the types of videos that you're going to be creating, based on your skill set, and based on how much time you want to spend learning and figuring it out, or also how many advanced features and things you actually need access to. So it's all designed to find the best one for you. Okay, so kicking this off with the free category, in here we've got software like iMovie, Shortcut, HitFilm Express, Davinci Resolve, Lightworks, Avid Media Composer First, and VN Video Editor. So all of these are obviously free, but all of these also will allow you to make a video without there being some sort of branding or watermark on it. Now, typically what you'll find with free software is that a lot of them can be very basic and not have many features or controls in there, and others of them are really just stripped down versions of the more professional paid options that they offer. Now, I say typically because that's not always the case, and there are some standout options in this category that give you access to really advanced professional grade software for free. Now, from trying and testing all of those options, my shortlist in this category comes down to iMovie, VN Video Editor, and Davinci Resolve. So iMovie would have to be one of the most popular options when it comes to free video editing software on Mac, or even one of the first things that people think of when they think of editing on a Mac. The overall interface is easy to use, it's fairly intuitive. For someone who's an absolute beginner that's never edited before, you'll be able to jump in and get up to speed editing relatively quickly inside of iMovie. In terms of more advanced features and controls, that's really where iMovie falls down, but that's also because it's really the cut down version of the more professional software, Final Cut, which shares a very similar interface. So one of the big advantages with iMovie is if you learn and master iMovie and then you get to the point where you're outgrowing it, you have a clear upgrade path through to Final Cut, where it's not going to be something that's totally foreign to you. You'll be able to pick it up much quicker knowing iMovie than if you just jump straight into Final Cut. The next option in our shortlist is WeVideo Editor. Now this is a new kid on the block when it comes to video editing software on a Mac. Previously this was only available as an app for iOS and Android. I think what they've done by bringing this over to Mac and hopefully PC soon in the future as well, but it's just amazing. This is something that totally blew me away when I first opened it. I didn't have high expectations. I thought it would be okay, but it's actually really amazing. I like that they've brought from the app the whole interface and everything over to work well on the Mac. Now that might seem like a really small thing, but generally you're going to be editing with a different approach on a smaller device or even on an iPad versus on the desktop. And this works so well on the desktop, much better than I thought that it would. Now, while I said that iMovie had an intuitive, fairly easy to use interface and it would be easy to jump in and figure stuff out, this is next level on that. The interface here is amazing. Everything is so well laid out. Again, if you've never edited anything before, right through to if you are someone at that advanced side, you'll still be able to jump in and find everything you need really at your fingertips without needing to dive into menus and things to find everything. It's also got a lot more advanced features built in as well. I think the way that they've handled the color grading or the color correction area is really, really powerful. Not only do you have access to a ton of filters built in to find the one that you would like, but you can also dive in and manually control and adjust all the different elements that build up that filter or that look for your videos to really dial in the look and feel that you're after. But probably the most important one is how fast it is to edit. The performance that you're getting out of this app is just phenomenal. So I'm not sure if this is something that's going to remain free forever, but it's ridiculous that it's free right now. And as for Davinci Resolve then, this one is hands down the most professional, most advanced video editing software out there for free. This is literally professional software that people use to make Hollywood movies and those sorts of things, literally that you get access to for nothing. Now in terms of usability and the interface, this one here is definitely more complex and more complicated than the two previous options I've mentioned, but it's also aimed and targeted at people more at that intermediate to advanced level with all the features and everything that's packed into it. So when you jump into this one for the first time, it definitely could be a little overwhelming. And if you are a beginner looking to use Davinci Resolve, then make sure you're checking out our Davinci Resolve for Beginners tutorial, which I will link up in the cards. Now, one thing to note with Davinci Resolve is that this really isn't designed to work on older, low spec computers. You will need to have a more modern, more powerful computer to be able to use this well. But again, it's just ridiculous that they're giving you access to these pro level tools for free. So rounding this out, if you're an absolute beginner, iMovie could be a good option for you. But I really think if you're looking at iMovie, you're probably going to be able to jump into Video Editor much easier, much faster with the better interface and far more features and control than you have in iMovie. So my recommendation would be if you're a beginner through to that intermediate level, Video Editor would be my #1 pick for you right now. Or even if you are someone more advanced, just looking to edit stuff down quick, but still have access to a lot of those tools and features and things, then you really can't go wrong with Video Editor. Or if you are someone that's at that intermediate to advanced level and someone who is looking for professional grade video editing software, then you really can't go past Davinci Resolve. Now, if you are someone that is at that beginner stage, but you're someone that wants to have access to all the bells and whistles, all the features and advanced controls, then you can definitely still get into Resolve, but just know that there will be a learning curve for you to get up to speed editing fast in there. Now, if I had to pick just one winner from this category, it's gonna have to go to Davinci Resolve. You're gonna get sick of me saying this, but it's just ridiculous what you get access to inside of there for free. I mean, literally, this software is up there with the big boys and rivals a lot of the top options. Okay, now moving on to the next category, which is the sub $200 category. So all video editing software under that $200 price point. And as I said, we're going to include the free options in here as well, so that you know that you've got the best option if you're spending up to $200. Now, typically what you'll find with paid software versus free software is that you're generally getting more performance. You're generally getting more tools and features and control over the editing process. You're generally getting more professional package once you're paying for it. And again, I have to say generally because there's standout options like Video Editor and Davinci Resolve that really pack a punch in the free category. So in this sub $200 category, we're looking at software like Filmora, Adobe Premiere Rush, MovAVI Plus, WeVideo, ScreenFlow, Adobe Premiere Elements, Filmora Pro, Lightworks Pro. Now, from trying and testing all of those, my shortlist in this category, again including free options, comes down to WeVideo, VN Video Editor, Filmora, and Davinci Resolve. WeVideo is a powerful and really easy to use online cloud-based video editor. So there's nothing to download and install on your computer. It literally just runs in your web browser, meaning that you've got access to the power of this application even on lower spec computers like Chromebooks as well. The interface is really intuitive and is easy to navigate around and to get up to speed editing in there. And really the power and the performance in this was something that blew me away, especially as this is software that's run in the cloud. The performance that you get even working with 4K video files is better than a lot of the other software options out there. Now, because this is cloud-based editing software, it also means that it's easy to jump between different systems. So you could log in on your laptop and do some editing while you're out, and then log back in on your desktop when you're home to finish off your video. But the fact that it's in the cloud also means that it's really powerful for working with teams or people that are remote. You can literally both be working on the same project without the need to transfer all the files to each individual computer. And even if your internet speed isn't great, you can still be editing your video files down while they're uploading to WeVideo in the background. So you're able to start working on your projects immediately while the uploads are happening as well. Now, in terms of pricing, there's a few different options starting at $4.99 per month. But if you're going to be using this as your editing platform, then likely you're going to be looking at the unlimited plan for $7.99 per month. Or if you also want to unlock all of the stock footage and stock music and stuff to use in your videos as well, then that's where the professional plan at $17.99 per month could be the one for you. Filmora is another great all-rounder when it comes to video editing software. It's got that great mix of having an intuitive interface, but also having a lot more of the professional video features in there as well. This one works on both Mac and Windows, so if you're transferring between computers, then that's not going to be a problem. Now, Filmora is one that not that long ago I never thought I'd be recommending. It's come a really long way from where it started, and it's now a solid option when it comes to video editing software. Once again, it's got a really intuitive, easy to use interface, probably not to the level of VN Video Editor, but still for an absolute beginner jumping in here, you're gonna figure it out pretty quick. But what I like about Filmora is it's a good mix of being simple and easy to use, but also having a lot of those more advanced features and things that you would use in your videos as well. And it also mimics the kind of look and feel and usability of more professional video editing software. So when you outgrow this, it's not so much of a transition from this to more professional software. It's not going to feel completely foreign to you. Another thing that stood out for me with Filmora was how fast it saves and exports your videos. It's really tapped into that Apple hardware, and it really does an amazing job of saving your videos out fast. Now, in regards to pricing, there is a free version of Filmora, and that is not what I'm talking about. The free version does have a watermark. So what we're talking about is the paid version, which you can buy lifetime access to this software for $69.99 currently. Or your other option is to jump on an annual subscription for $39.99, and that will give you continued updates as they grow the software. So I do like that you have the option to buy this outright, so it's not just another monthly subscription that you've got ticking over. So with the shortlist in this category being WeVideo, VN Video Editor, Filmora, and Davinci Resolve, what are my recommendations? WeVideo is going to be great if you're someone who is working on a lower spec computer, an older computer, or they're looking to be able to work and edit in the cloud and jump between different computers, or even easily work with teams that are remote. Filmora is going to be great for someone, again, at that beginner level through to intermediate, someone who is looking for that traditional look and feel for video editing software to be able to move to different programs later if you need to, but also someone that doesn't want to get caught up or bogged down or overwhelmed with all the professional tools and features in other programs like Davinci Resolve. VN Video Editor, I'd say, is probably the standout all-rounder in this category, and I really think it is the best mix of absolute beginner through to intermediate, and again, something that a more advanced person could jump in here and still have access to a lot of the things that they would want for simple video edits. Whereas someone looking for the most advanced controls, the most advanced professional features, it's going to go hands down to Davinci Resolve. So this really is a perfect example of, depending on your use case and your needs and requirements, that some of these free options are definitely outweighing a lot of the paid options that are out there. So from this category, if I had to pick one clear winner, it's going to be a tough one, but I would say it's going to go again to Davinci Resolve. Again, it's amazing what you get access to full professional grade software for free. So that brings us to the next category, $200 plus. So really in this category, what we're looking at is all video editing software. software. If you're prepared to spend $200 or more on your video editing software, what are your options? So this is also going to include the under $200 price point as well, and free options, just so you know how they all stack up. Now again, typically in this category of $200 plus for video editing software, this is really where you're looking at the more professional options, stuff that is used a lot in broadcast studios, stuff that is going to have all the features, all the controls that you would want, and also generally having the ability to unlock the full potential of your computer when it comes to video editing as well. So in this category, you've got options like Avid Media Composer, Adobe Premiere Pro, Davinci Resolve Studio, the paid version of Davinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, Camtasia, and HitFilm Pro. So again, from trying and testing all of those, my top picks, my shortlist in this category go to WeVideo, VN Video Editor, Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Davinci Resolve. So it's a bigger shortlist in this category, and that's because we're really opening this up. So really these 5 are my top picks for best video editing software on Mac right now. So let's see how they compare. Final Cut Pro is really the big brother or the professional version of iMovie. This is another program that back when I was editing on Avid, I really thought that Final Cut was more of an iMovie Plus or more of a toy than a professional option for video editing. And it did take me a while to actually commit to jumping in and giving it a go and to figuring out how it works and really to appreciate how you approach video editing in there. It is definitely a top contender in this category and is now one of my favorite programs to edit videos in. I really can't say enough about how well Apple has integrated the software side, Final Cut, with the hardware in their systems to make editing an absolute breeze or an absolute dream to edit in. Just scrubbing through and editing really complicated timelines is like slicing through butter. It is amazingly smooth, amazingly fast, and the render times are ridiculously quick. So well played, Apple. I'm now a big fan. Now, in regards to pricing, Final Cut is a one-time purchase for $299. So there's no ongoing subscriptions, and they continue to give you updates. I literally bought this years ago, and I'm still getting updates today. So it's just phenomenal that you can just pay once and you're done, and you get access to this amazing piece of software. Now, Adobe Premiere Pro is probably the most popular video editing program out there right now. It works on both Mac and PC, and people are using this for top-level productions, Hollywood movies and things, right down to their YouTube videos as well. So it's a good mix and there's a lot of people using it. But I think one of the biggest standout features with Premiere is how well it works with the rest of the Adobe suite. So you can easily create your graphics in Photoshop or your motion graphics and stuff in After Effects, and all of them just integrate seamlessly in your video editing timeline. Now, it's not to say that Photoshop and After Effects don't play well with any of the other options, they just don't play anywhere near as well. They're not integrated as well as they are in Premiere. Now, in terms of the overall interface and usability, I don't think this is something that's gonna scare people away, but definitely for someone that is an absolute beginner, there's gonna be a learning curve here for you as well. And it really comes down to there being so much inside of this program. Now, in terms of pricing, you can only access Adobe Premiere Pro on a subscription basis. So you can either pay monthly for just Adobe Premiere for $20.99 per month, or you can access it as part of the Adobe Master subscription where you get access to all of the Adobe products for $52.99 per month. So rounding out this category with WeVideo, VN Video Editor, Final Cut, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Davinci Resolve, here are my recommendations. If you're at that beginner to intermediate level, then this is where WeVideo or VN Video Editor could be the best ones for you. If you're on a low spec computer, you want to move between computers, or you want to work with team remotely, WeVideo will be your pick. Or again, if you're at that beginner to intermediate level and you're looking for an amazing all-rounder, something that's going to be super intuitive, really clean and easy to use, but still powerful in terms of the videos you can create, then that's where VN Video Editor could be the one for you. Now, beyond that is really where we're looking at the more advanced software, the professional grade software, Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, and Davinci Resolve. Now, really at this point, the ideal scenario here is that you are grabbing the trial versions or the free version of Resolve in this case, but you're trying and testing them out for you to see which one is going to resonate with you, which one is going to be the fastest and easiest for you to edit your content down, and is going to have access to all the tools and functionality that you need for the videos you're going to be creating. Again, there is no one one perfect solution out there for everyone. I personally love Final Cut because it's fast and powerful. I love Adobe Premiere and I love the workflow it has for working with teams. I also love the integration it has with the rest of the Adobe suite. And Davinci Resolve is right up there as well. And just like Premiere integrates well with After Effects and Photoshop and Audition, you've got the similar sort of setup in Resolve as well, where it's got those complementary products all built in. So again, another really powerful option, and without the price tag of the other two. So those are my top recommendations. Now, if I had to pick a winner, I'm gonna pick two. I'm gonna pick Final Cut and I'm gonna pick VN Video Editor. These are literally the programs that I'm going to jump into if I'm gonna edit a video. I just like how they work. I like how intuitive they are, and I like how fast both of them are. But for me, it's also going to come down to what video I'm producing at that time. Is this just something where it needs simple, quick edits, maybe a few color tweaks, in which case I'll be using VN. Or currently for all of our YouTube videos, those have been edited down in Final Cut. But if I was going to take on another client project and work with editors remotely, then I would be choosing Adobe Premiere Pro. So again, there's not one perfect solution. It comes down to what is the best one for you and the types of videos you're going to be creating. Because essentially, they're all just tools to edit video down, and there's pros and cons of each of them. Now, earlier in the video, I said I'd also share with you 3 video editing tips that will help you edit faster, no matter which software you're using. So tip number 1 is to learn some of the keyboard shortcuts. It's much faster, in some cases saving you 3 or 4 steps, or moving your mouse back and forth around the editing suite to press 1 or 2 keyboard buttons that's going to do the same thing. So over time, this is going to save you so much time and speed up your editing considerably. Now, to find the keyboard shortcuts, you don't need to learn them all, but to find the keyboard shortcuts, you can usually just go into the help area of the software that you're using, or you could go to Google and type in your video editing software name and keyboard shortcuts to find them. Tip number 2 is to not try and create everything from scratch yourself every single time. There are some amazing websites like VideoHive, like Placeit, that let you create amazing motion graphics and purchase templates and things that you can use in your videos so that you don't need to learn programs like After Effects to create amazing graphics for your videos. So I'm a big fan of VideoHive and Placeit because it allows me to create those things in a fraction of the time. And tip number 3 is to not jump straight in and color grade your footage or put on effects and things straight up. You want to focus on cutting down the content of your video first instead of trying to make it look good. By you applying all these filters and things onto your videos, you're actually going to put more pressure, more load on your computer to be able to process your videos while you're editing it down. So you're actually going to slow down the process. But also, you might spend all this time making your footage look good up front and then find that there's something wrong with your footage. Something might be missing or something might have happened and you don't have a usable video there. So you wasting time up front making it look good could actually just be wasting a ton of time. So focus on cutting down the content first and then make it look good later in your process. Now, these are just 3 video editing tips from our full video editing process guide, the Primal Video Method. You can download and grab your copy now. There is a link on screen and in the description below. You can print it out and you can follow along next time you're editing your videos down so that you know you're using the most efficient process to edit your videos fast. I'll see you in the next video.